Attention. It's now time for Hideous and Horrific History with Hannah Hickox. Listen or suffer the consequences.
Should be herstory because during the month of March, we are celebrating hers on Hannah Hickox's Hideous and Horrific History.
Yeah.
Hannah, do you have a good story for us today?
I do.
Oh, let's hear it.
This is the story of Tillie Klimek.
I love it already.
The psychic serial killer.
Oh,
wow.
So she saw it coming.
She says.
Oh.
So she was a Polish immigrant who lived in a Polish community in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
She claimed to be psychic. She would have these premonitions, or so she said, that these dogs were going to die, and then they magically did. But really, these were like some dogs in her neighborhood that she really didn't like, and so then, ta-da, they would just be dead.
So she would predict the dogs would die on a certain time and place, and then the dog would miraculously be dead.
Yeah, it was very strange, right?
She is psychic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
worth your money, yeah. I'd go see her for a session.
Or psychotic.
Yeah.
And so she had been married to her husband since 1895. And this was in about 1914. And the dogs just weren't doing it for her, you know? So she told
They
her
never
husband,
do.
she said, you know, like, babe, I'm really sorry, but I just had this dream that you're going to die in a couple weeks.
Her husband?
Yeah. And she knew that he had $1,000 life insurance policy, right? And so a few weeks later, he did.
Wow.
And she gets $1,000. Yeah, she gets
Two for two.
2 for 2. Then she gets $1,000 life insurance policy. Then she goes and she finds this Polish matchmaking group because they didn't have apps then.
Yeah,
you know?
no, back then they didn't have apps.
Yeah, and she got married to this new guy, Frank.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And then she's like, Frank, I'm so sorry. I had this horrible dream that you're going to die.
Let me guess.
He did.
Wow.
She got his money.
How
Wow,
did he
she is
die?
really good
Did
at
she
this.
have a premonition of like I have this dream that you're going to die because my scissors are going to be stuck into your throat?
No, she wouldn't tell him. She just said, you're going to get sick and die. That's all
Whoa.
she would say is you're going to get sick
And
and
it
die.
happened?
And it happened.
Oh, my
and this
God.
happened 2 more times. So in total, she killed 4 husbands. But in
And
the
2
middle.
dogs.
Yeah, and
Don't forget the dogs.
No, multiple dogs. Yeah, absolutely. Multiple dogs. But she also, for one of her husbands, she, kind of was okay with him, right? She was kind of okay with him.
She liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the kids around in her neighborhood, she wasn't too fond of.
Oh, no.
So she started baking candy. And guess what it had in it?
It had dogs. in it.
Ew. No, arsenic.
Arsenic.
Which is also ew. Yeah. And so not all of those kids died, but a lot of them were poisoned. And turns out, until the 4th husband, nobody suspected that she was a killer, and she would just kill random family members. It wasn't just her husbands. She would kill random family members if she was on their will. Yeah.
How many did she record her premonition somewhere? Did people know she was having these
so there's not an
premonitions?
exact number. People knew. She would tell her neighbors, her friends. And it turns out that she and her cousin were kind of in on it together. Her cousin would go purchase arsenic from the store, right? Because rat poisoning was easy to get, and it was tasteless and odorless. And she would slowly poison people.
Wow.
Yeah, it was insane. But yeah, even like family members who she knew she was on the will for when she wanted things, she would just be like, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but you're going to die.
Did she give other psychic information? Was she heralded
it
as a
was just
psychic?
about death.
Lottery
It was just the
numbers.
death psychic.
She was like essentially the death psychic.
Like someone would come in and say, "Can you tell me when I'm going to die?" And she'd be like, "Right now."
She'd be like, 12 hours.
Yeah.
Want some tea?
That is wild. So what happened in the end?
Yeah, so in the end, after her 4th husband dying, because this only happened in a 7-year span. Her first husband died in 1914.
Yeah.
She was caught in 1921.
Wow.
Yeah, so she killed between 14 and 20 people in that time. And she predicted her own death in prison. And she said, I'm going to be hanged.
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 That's correct.
Important. I'm going to be hanged. And then they're like, nah, girl, you're going to rot in prison. You deserve it.
But did
Yeah.
she
So they
get
took
hanged?
away her
No,
sheets.
she didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you could have just Jeffrey Epsteined yourself in here.
I mean, maybe.
855. That was very good, Hannah.
go,
Is
Hannah.
that it?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
it.
nicely
Tune in
done.
next time for more Hideous and Horrific History with Hannah Hickox.